Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by New Army. Am I the jerk for telling my mom and dad that they have to get their noses pierced if they want to see my daughter again? My husband and I traveled down to Mexico to visit with my family. I am an American citizen, my mom and dad are not. My mom and dad got my daughter earrings for her birthday. My daughter's ears are not pierced. She is only 1 year old. I told them that I would save them for her until she was old enough to get her ears pierced. We left my daughter with my parents while we went to meet up with some friends. When we went to pick up my daughter, my mom showed us that we didn't need to wait because they had taken her to get her ears pierced. I got my daughter and I dragged my husband out of there before he lost his crap. We went back to our hotel. I am furious. My husband said that my parents are not allowed to spend time alone with my daughter ever again. I went farther. I said that I would not be bringing her or any other kids we might have down here to see my parents. We checked out 3 days early and went home. On the way home, my parents were calling me to see when we were coming over. I ignored all the calls and texts until we were back home in Phoenix. We took a couple of days to think things over and cool down. I finally called them. I asked them not to speak until I was done talking. I told them that my husband and I are upset with them for getting our baby's ears pierced without our permission. I told them that we went back home and probably wouldn't be visiting for a while. They said that my sister and I both had pierced ears when we were babies and that it did not harm us. I said that we were not going to change our minds. They started getting everyone, including my grandmother, to call me and say I was being ridiculous. I talked with my husband and we came up with a compromise. We agreed that we would resume visits but not alone time with them if they both got their noses pierced. They said that we are being stupid and that they are not going to do that. I said no problem and hung up. We have started blocking anyone who tries to call us and give us shit for denying my parents their right to see my daughter. Our next post is by Fearless Material. Am I the jerk for telling my sister to accept her daughter is white? Both me, 33F, and my sister, 27F, are Caucasian Latinas. However, she's always been more tan than me. A fact she's always been very proud of. For reference, my skin tone is close to Aubrey Plaza's, while hers is closer to Gina Rodriguez's. When we were younger, she would constantly talk about how European I looked compared to her, how my hair looked more blonde than brown, which no one ever agreed with, and how certain colors I liked looked awful on me due to my skin tone. I almost never said anything because I was 6 years older and had better things to do. Also, while I did have many insecurities, I never doubted I was beautiful. Fast forward to now, we both have kids. My husband is a little more tan than me, and both our children, 8M and 3F, have the same skin tone as their father. My sister's ex and baby daddy, however, was a very pale Swiss guy. My niece, 5F, is a fair-skinned girl with dark blonde hair, while my daughter is more tan and has dark brown hair. Everyone agrees that both girls are beautiful, but their skin tones have always bugged my sister. She insists that both girls are equally tan, that her daughter's hair is light brown, and that my daughter spends too much time in the sun. Last weekend, we all had dinner at my father's place. My son brought his notebook and drew pictures of everyone at the table. He colored my daughter's skin a darker shade than my niece. Edit: orange for my daughter, light pink for my niece. He also gave my niece yellow hair and colored my daughter's hair black. He lost his brown pencil. When he showed us the drawings, my sister frowned. She said he was exaggerating his cousin's features and that he could at least make her hair darker. When my niece said she loved the drawing, my sister told her it looked nothing like her and insisted my son was doing this on purpose. Before the kids could get upset, I pulled my sister aside and told her she was being ridiculous. We had a very small fight in the next room. Near its end, I said something along the lines of, "Listen to me. Your daughter is white. We're all white. You need to accept that and stop comparing the girls if you don't want niece's name to become insecure." We left shortly afterwards, and none of the kids have brought anything up again. My sister is pissed at me. She told both our divorced parents about our fight. Our father thinks I shouldn't have commented on my niece's appearance and wants me to apologize to my sister. Our mom thinks this is dumb. I agree, but says my sister is overreacting. Am I the jerk? Our next post is by Independent Box. Am I the jerk for telling my parents and my pregnant sister that I will not babyproof my area of the house and saying that I will be locking them out instead? My parents live in the in-law suite of my house. They pay rent to help me cover the mortgage, but the house is completely mine. Their rent is $600 a month. That includes all utilities, including internet and streaming services. My older sister is pregnant again, and she needs a place to stay as her baby daddy bailed out and moved back to Romania without her. My parents agreed to let her stay with them. They did not ask me, but like I said, they pay rent and can do as they wish with their living area. My parents have full run of my house except for my bedroom and my office. My dad likes to putter in the garage and plays with my dog. My mom likes to bake in my kitchen and work in the garden. The basement has a kitchen, but it is small, and mine is just better all around. Note, they want me to baby-proof my levels of the house. I asked why I would need to do this, as the kids would 100% not be in my area. My mom said that it would not be fair to keep the kids cooped up in the basement all day. I said that there was a huge yard and sunroom for them to spend time in if they really wanted. My sister said that she couldn't spend all her time cramped up like that with 3 kids. I asked when she found out she was having twins. She shut up. I dragged it out of them that she was planning on watching her friend's toddler for money. I said I did not have insurance for her to run a business out of my house. She said it was all under the table and that she needed money. This was when I said that I would be taking the keys to my area back from my parents, and I was also going to change the locks. Our next post is by Throwaway. Am I the jerk for telling my bio sister I'm sorry she wasn't adopted, but that doesn't have anything to do with me, and I owe her nothing? I, 25M, was placed in the foster system by my bio parents when I was 2 years old. I was adopted sometime later by my real parents. I recognize that I'm extremely fortunate and lucky to have been adopted before I had any real memory of the system, and that my parents gave me a better life than I would have ever had if I had stayed with my bio parents. I grew up privileged, went to private schools, had holidays abroad, and had my tuition paid fully when I started uni. I was loved and never lacked anything. I currently have a well-paying job as chemical engineer, a beautiful wife, a house paid off fully by my in-laws, and 2 children. I'm very grateful for everything I have and recognize that I would be leading a very different life had I not been adopted. Last year I was contacted by Opal, 27F, who claimed I was her brother and wanted to meet up. After careful consideration, I agreed. After doing a DNA test together and digging a bit into family history, Opal and I discovered that we were placed into foster care around the same time. Usually foster care will try to keep siblings together, but for some reason we were not registered as siblings and were placed into different foster homes, probably due to having a different dad's surname and being given up by different people. Opal got very upset by this discovery, even more so after she found out that while she was never adopted, I had lived a good life with loving parents. After the discovery, Opal started calling and asking to hang out with my parents and I, or asking me to do certain favors for her. It got uncomfortable really quickly since, to be frank, I don't know her that well. In all aspects except genetically, she is a total stranger to me. I don't feel comfortable lending her money or introducing her to my entire family. She even made a couple of comments that made me uneasy when she asked me if I thought my parents would have adopted her also, had they known she existed when I was adopted, and if I think they would accept her into the family now. Last night she called me again, this time to complain how she saw that the women in my family had a get-together over the weekend, and how she felt excluded since she didn't get an invite. I told her that I get that she's upset, but that was a family get-together for all the women, and she's not family to them, so she's not entitled to an invitation. Opal began screaming at me how it was unfair, and how since I'm considered family she should be considered too by extension, and that I owe it to her to make sure my family invites her next time, since it's the least I could do for her as someone who got adopted. I told her I'm sorry she feels excluded and that she wasn't adopted, but neither my family nor I owe her anything before hanging up the phone. Since then, I've been receiving non-stop texts calling me an evil jerk. I'm starting to second-guess myself and need an outside perspective on the situation. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.